Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we have a very exciting figure to take a look at because this is a species that I have been waiting literally years for someone to make a good figure of. This is the Xiphactinus, and it is a figure that I did not expect Collecta to come out with this year. Definitely wasn't expecting it at all, but boy was it ever a pleasant surprise. This is a species of fish that just has been continuously overlooked for so long, and it's such a really cool looking species of fish. And in fact, the only figure that I can even think of that is out previously of this would have been the version included with the Pegasus Hobby Spinosaurus, as there was a deceased version that the Spinosaurus was feeding on in that kind of diorama, that model. So other than that, I really don't know. There may have been one from Kyoto that I just don't know of, but this one, again, was something that I was extremely excited about once I had seen the initial prototype images of it, and just generally hearing of its upcoming release was something that I was pretty much over the moon excited about. So having it here in person, I can say that it is really nicely done and definitely a great figure that really does the species justice. So to show you that, we're going to go ahead and get a closer look at it right now. So starting up here at the head sculpt, straight away you can see a lot of really nice detailing. One area specifically that probably jumps out at you quite nicely would be the gills, and I think the gills are beautifully sculpted and definitely a really nice touch to the figure overall. But the other area that I think could probably really stand out would be those beautifully painted eyes. The eye is painted with a yellow, given a black pupil, and it is gorgeously glossed. It really looks about as lifelike and realistic as it probably gets as far as an eye on a model goes. You can see that Collecta had taken great care on both sides as far as the placement of the eyes and the paint application. It is picture perfect on both sides and really adds a lot of life to the model. You can also see the nostrils are sculpted out up here on the top of the figure. The mouth as well is sculpted in an open position. You can see the teeth are also painted and sculpted quite nicely all over the place. You can see the teeth on both sides. Really quite nicely done. There's a little bit of sloppy paint right here, but I mean, it's not anything terrible. It's just a really minor area. You can see the inside of the mouth, kind of, but the mouth is so small, so it's a little hard to actually get in with the camera currently, but you can definitely see the inside of the mouth a little bit there. The detail looks really quite nice inside the mouth, as well as the coloration chosen for the inside of the mouth. I think it's a very nice, very realistic tone of color included in there. As we start to move back into the body, you can see those gorgeous scales start to pick up those fish scales, and they look really nicely done, very realistically sculpted. You can also see the fin here. There's some nice detail included within the fins here on the front of the Xiphactinus. You can also see it on the opposing fin right there. Also some really nice coloration as it sports actually, it seems like almost 3 different variations of color. There's kind of like a darker gray here, and then there's a little bit of a lighter gray, and then there's also almost like a slight hint of like a pinkish coloration in there as well. I don't know how good it's picking up on camera, but in person it's really cool. And actually, if you look at the body up here, first of all, you have like the silver, which is actually, I should have said silver as far as that color, not gray, but you can see the really nice light silver. And then as I turn it, you can almost see like that hint of almost like that pinkish color again within the figure, but you don't notice it all that well until you start to turn it. And again, I don't know how much that's showing up on camera, but here in person, it looks really cool and definitely gives the figure, again, a really nice, really lifelike appearance. And I think the coloration in general was beautifully chosen as far as the silver color. I feel like it looks really nice, really natural for the animal. And you can also see it kind of transitions from like a really dark gray up here, but it kind of has like a metallic almost like appearance to it a little bit as far as like that shine goes. And then transitions down here into this nice light silver that's really bright, really shiny, and I think it looks gorgeous overall. I'm really psyched about this figure. As you move back along the underside, you can continue to see the fins and everything are all really nicely sculpted. You have some very nice detail contained within, and then you lead up here to the top. You can see the other fin up here, also beautifully sculpted, beautifully painted. Again, similar to the fins here on the front as far as the coloration with that dark gray. Then there's also a light gray or silver, however you want to term it, and then that little hint of like a pinkish coloration in there as well. Really cool. And then you lead back here to the tail fin, similar just to all the other ones. The detail looks gorgeous back here, but you can also see again that same style of paintwork where you have like the darkish coloration, then a little bit lighter, and then some hints of like almost like a pinkish kind of a color included within. And again, I really hope it's showing up here on screen, on camera, like I'm seeing it here in person, because it's definitely quite visible in person. A really cool appearance for the figure. Of course, on this side, you're not really going to see too much difference as opposed to what we had seen on the previous side, especially when the Xiphactinus isn't really in any type of a crazy position. You can see a nice curve to the body. It does have a nice curve, but it's not in any kind of like a crazy dramatic position that would cause any type of a significant difference as far as the appearance goes over here. So that just means that it looks absolutely awesome on both sides, and definitely a figure I am really happy about releasing in the Collecta 2021 year. As far as a size goes on our Xiphactinus, from the tail fin to the tip of the snout, I would say you're looking at about well, we can definitely see it's about 16 centimeters, so about 6¼ inches roughly in length. In height, you're not really going to find too much for a species like this, but to the top of that fin, you're looking at about 2 1/8 or so, or about 5½ centimeters, somewhere in that range. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our Collecta 2021 Xiphactinus, and you can definitely see next to these figures right here that it does sport a pretty decent size, but it's nothing overly large. I would say it's probably, I'd say like a medium-sized figure, so it's not a figure that I feel like anybody would have even a remotely hard time fitting into their collection, and definitely a very nice sized figure overall. So this 2021 Collecta Xiphactinus is awesome, an absolutely awesome figure. Again, I've been waiting so long for somebody to release a nice figure of this species. It's just something that, aside from the Pegasus Hobby Spinosaurus model, which that one was deceased, it's just a species that continuously gets overlooked, and really most prehistoric fish seem to, but definitely something that I was really hoping and praying somebody would make at some point, and I'm really happy that the one that did end up making it was Collecta. They stepped up to the plate, gave it their best shot, and 100% hit a home run, if you ask me, as far as this figure goes. I feel like the sculpt is quite beautifully done. It has a really nice, very realistic appearance to it. There's not too much as far as like movement or anything shown, but that's because there's not really too much as far as movement shown in general as far as the positioning of the body. So there's not really too much else that you would really see on the figure in general as far as movement, because it's for the most part just kind of swimming along. It doesn't seem to have any type of a dramatic pose. It just has a slight curve to the body, and it's just swimming along, minding its own business, I guess. But I feel like as far as the sculpt goes, it's about as highly detailed as you're probably going to find for a species of prehistoric fish. The paint job as well is really nicely done, as it does include quite a few different variations of like a silver when it comes to darker and lighter tones, and you see that throughout the entire figure. And then you also have that really cool kind of pinkish coloration that is a very subtle addition to the figure, and at certain points you don't even almost notice it until you get it in the right light and just kind of turn the figure, and then you can kind of pick up on that area of coloration included on it. A very nice touch on the part of Collecta. The beautifully painted eyes are something that I really love. It's a very realistic looking eye as far as the gloss coat used. Collecta always nails it as far as the gloss coat on the eyes, and always gives it such a very realistic appearance. You also have the really nice paintwork on the inside of the mouth as well. So as a whole, this figure is a 100% win, and something that I am so happy to finally be able to add to my collection. So if you would like to pick this up, again, keep checking Everything Dinosaur for when the 2021 Collecta figures start to come into stock, because of course they will be carrying this figure, so it's only a matter of time before it is available on everythingdinosaur.com. So make sure you check Everything Dinosaur, all of their social media outlets, to continue to follow along, and you will be the first to know, of course, when the 2021 Collecta figures come into stock. And make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.